Friends, we are gathered here today to talk about a movie that is stuck in my head like a couch cushion cookie crumb. Ever since Disney Plus was announced, I was hoping they would release the DComs, and they did, and when I scrolled through I stopped on this one, You Wish. While most of the DComs I just feel pretty meh about, this one was pulling me. There was something I remembered about this film, but I didn't know exactly what. So I watched it, and not only did I find out what the core memory was, I actually really enjoyed it, and have a thesis about DComs that would make filmmaking today better. Do you believe me? Well, you're gonna.
That's the grossest thing I've ever seen.
You Wish is a 2003 Disney Channel original movie, or DCOM, about precocious, everyday suburban teen Alex Lansing, who wishes his younger brother Stevie didn't exist and how his life gets better. Or does it? It does. It does get better. Materially, anyway. Because he's an only child, his parents can afford an upgraded house, which is equally sad and hilarious. Between this and Fairly Odd Parents, there were a lot of regretful parent tropes at the time.
My dreams were shattered years ago.
How many years ago?
How old are you?
But yeah, not everything gets better. He's lonely, he finds out that his new jock friends act like jocks.
We gonna kick some Wildcat butt today, Bling? Yeah!
And his new cheerleader girlfriend acts like a cheerleader.
That is not your seat, hello.
And his friends no longer know who he is. So a lot of monkey's paw tropes going on, right? In the year of our Lord, it is very cliche, but remember this is 2003. People still went to malls. Malls are those places with lots of stores. You remember malls, right? Airplane food? If you're a millennial, then you watch Disney Channel. And if you watch Disney Channel, then you will recognize the main cast of characters in You Wish, because they were the supporting cast of some of the most popular Disney Channel shows and movies at the time. AJ Trauth. What did you put? AJ Trauth. Trauth? Trauth. Trauth. AJ Trauth played best friend Twitty and Even Stevens, Lalaine played best friend Miranda and Lizzie McGuire, and Spencer Breslin played every little brother kid role ever, and one of those kids that gets killed in the happening. Don't ask how I know this, it's very important info to know, okay? I'll take Disney stars and M. Night Shyamalan films for 500, Alex, thank you. At the core of You Wish is a fish out of water, woe is me story. It's suggested that Alex ends up in some alternate universe where Stevie isn't his younger brother and actually famous child movie star Terrence Russell McCormick, the best NPC name ever. The introduction of this leads to one of the funniest exchanges I've seen in a film.
Alex, why are you hanging onto the television?
It's Stevie.
Yeah, Terrence Russell McCormick. He's so cute.
No, it's not Terrence somebody. It's Stevie.
Okay, look, honey, your father and I have to go. Are you okay?
Stevie. He's on the television.
Every week? I didn't think you liked that show.
What show?
Where's Stevie?
He's on the television.
Alex, I don't understand.
It's Stevie.
Right, from the TV show.
What TV show?
Where's Stevie?
He's on the television.
Honey, what's the joke? I'm a little dense this morning.
Me too.
The suggestion that this is an alternate universe crops up a couple times in the film, leading to a kind of existential dread that builds up to a climax and release. Pretty advanced sci-fi speculation for a DCOM in my opinion, but it still didn't take itself too seriously. You Wish walked so everything everywhere all at once could fly. You Wish is also based on a book too. Jackie French Coller's 1991 novel If I Had One Wish is essentially the same story as this, but I haven't read it yet, so don't badger me. Maybe I'll read it soon. Book review, book club wants to do that. Cool, fun. You Wish was shot in New Zealand. A lot of DComs were, if you didn't know. Wendy Wu was also shot in New Zealand. I watched this again with some friends, and they kept pointing out how the football field is very obviously a rugby field. Apparently a lot of the actors are from several series of the Power Rangers. Maybe that's why we have several random stunts. For example, here's my second favorite scene of the whole movie. Lalaine plays the two versions of Abby throughout. She's also full Filipino. Shout out Filipinos. Let's go Filipinos, you're the best. Lalaine does a great job being the quirky conspiracy theory roller skater girl, and she helps carry a lot of the emotional weight toward the end of the film. The little romance between her and AJ Trauth feels very sweet, though it is a little bit borderline manic pixie dream girl, so you know, take that for what you will. But it was the times, okay? If you want to see her in a more recent role, go ahead and watch Sujata Day's Definition, please. Another great film. More Lalaine, please. Thank you. Director Paul Hohen does a good job of getting to the point of these characters. They don't need to be super complicated or pretentious. You can just tell what they're going through even without speaking. Alex's reality feels dire in this alternate Stevie-less universe. Paul really gets to the heart and mind of a kid. I know this is true because he directed a good number of episodes for Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Peak slapstick, overexpressive middle school problems, reboot it now, please, I can't let it go, let's do it, please. Alex eventually pursues an audience with his now famous alternate brother, Stevie. He finds out alt Stevie's life is not so great, is overly supervised, given no freedom, has a poor relationship with his parents, and clearly only a young face to sell stories and feelings. A critical lens on child stardom as an arm of capitalism in my DCOM? It's a very surface level meta commentary, but it's just wild to see this in a 2003 Disney film on Disney. Your homework is to watch Alyson Stoner's Toddler-to-Trainwreck industrial complex video after this. It's so great and pretty frightening, but a cautionary tale for young folks going into the industry. It's not always easy to talk about, but she lets you know based on her own personal experiences and what she's observed of other people. Let's go, Alyson Stoner. Okay, why did I make this video again? I remember this movie for some reason, and I thought it was because it was pretty good, and it is pretty good, but then... A Thousand Miles by Vanessa Carlton plays. And this is the reason I remember this movie. If you remember this film at all, it's probably because of this. 1,000 Miles by Vanessa fucking Carlton plays, and your life changes forever. 1,000 Miles was released in February of 2002, and You Wish premiered in January of 2003. So this gigantic, cataclysmic song was less than a year old when this blasted out of the tinny CRTV stereos of millions of families. This song completely dominated the early 2000s and grew bigger and became a meme before memes thanks to White Chicks and Terry Crews. But part of that song's journey was as a little emo music video about two brothers in an innocuous little DCOM in 2003. It's difficult to overstate how much of a core memory this would root into an entire media generation, myself definitely included. Just so many flowers to Vanessa Carlton. Do yourself a favor and watch the Vice mini doc about 1,000 Miles and Vanessa. So fascinating and incredibly well made. She did not have a simple relationship with that song, I'll tell you that. So at this point, the film goes into the third act, which is by far the best part of the film. Alex links up with Alt Stevie and realizes that the wishing coin must still exist in this universe. They recruit Alt Abby to find the coin. I love how the characters buy into Alex's story here, despite how ridiculous it is. It reminds me we really don't need to over-explain these sci-fi plots. Weird things happen every day. Some people are just ready to trust that. The three of them hang out and try to find the coin, which is ultimately fruitless. It gets kind of doomery at the end, which is surprising. It feels like the film was just going to end with things unresolved, but then we get the sequence where Alex gets the coin from his father, and it feels really tense. The music swells up dramatically and maintains this uncertain energy, then bang. Wish redacted, Alex comes back to OG Universe, and the song You Wish, sung by none other than Lalaine, starts playing, and everything is fine and good and cool again. This is an excellent song, by the way. Doesn't seem available on major streaming platforms, so find a way to get it like the resourceful millennial you are. Wink, wink, big wink, double wink. So that's You Wish, and I have a thesis. They don't make movies like this anymore. DCOM's always fulfilled this cheap, campy, moralizing story that created a lot of star power for the stars and a lot of launching pads for the co-stars. It's easy to see why these would benefit Disney. Keep the stars in-house, still produce scripts that don't feel ready for the big screen, and create big event features for kids to watch between the cartoons. But what it also created was a lot of opportunity for a middle-class level filmmaker. What I mean by middle class is a filmmaker that is post-film school or in the indie track but doesn't have the clout and or name brand recognition to helm a multi-million blockbuster. The middle-class filmmaker works between on made-for-TV films or straight-to-DVD releases on budgets that are about $1 million or less. While it's difficult to find budgets for any film, our qualitative assessment is that DCOMs at the level of You Wish are $1 million or less. Have better budget transparency, Hollywood. A crop of the DCOM filmmakers cut their teeth on these films. Did you know famous DCOM Smart House was directed by LeVar Burton? LeVar Burton of Reading Rainbow and Star Trek, LeVar Burton? LeVar Burton, who should be the host of Jeopardy but isn't because why? LeVar Burton? Anyway, many of these directors are still working today, mostly on television shows, with Paul Hohen directing Zombies 3, which is set to come out this year on Disney+. Don't ask me anything about the zombie series, but maybe with this recent DCOM love, I may just give it a chance. Apparently there's aliens coming to zombie high school, like, come on, the campiness. The campiness. But there really has been a DCOM slowdown from the amount Disney used to pump out. Just for context, there were 12 DCOMs in the year 2000 alone. That's one for every month. And for the past 6 years, there's only been 2 a year. There's obviously a lot of reasons for this, not as much TV watching, Disney Plus growing pains, but what it does signify is the lack of these middle-class filmmaking opportunities for new directors. And in those past 6 years, several veteran DCOM directors like Paul Hohen and Kenny Ortega have taken those slots rather than new voices. And many of the stories are sequels and remakes of older Disney IPs. My proposal is to bring DCOMs back in a bigger way. They don't need explosive budgets. In fact, it would be better and more fun if they didn't. Middle-class filmmakers crave the ability to practice where the stakes aren't so high. It would look good for Disney to invest in a new class of DCOM directing talent, and also we could restore the campy, light filmmaking that DCOMs are particularly good at. You Wish is one of the better DCOMs, honestly. It's fun, it has a little of everything for the hometown buffet core vibes that DCOMs are supposed to have. And it's certainly better than
71.
on the tier list of DCOMs. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Rebecca Alter, on your 105 DCOMs ranked list on Vulture. Don't at me, or don't. So what do you think? Do you remember You Wish? Did you like it? Do you think we should bully Disney to let indie filmmakers make more cheap DCOMs? Did you call your brother, your sister, your parents, anyone? Call someone. Let me know. Sleepy Jeppy out. Socials and resources in the description box. Bye-bye. That wasn't so bad.